gatherer, gay, straight, bisexual, heterosexual. The deepest identity we carry in today's world is that of gender and its million associations. The very first need is to know yourself, not by the belief of your parents, the judgment of your teachers, the vested interests of your politicians, but as can only be revealed by an enlightened source.
In Hindu tradition, till the age of 21, all of them have been asked to be a brahmachari. Not that everyone will be successful in celibacy, but that is the time they will discover their gender. Gender is not just related to body and physical maturity. It is related to physiology, psychology, and the whole being. Exploring your identity. Your gender is 10,000 times more juicy, celebrating than exploring the other body.
If you are feeling deeply good at wow, I am really worthy of what I am. I am really worthy of life. I am really worthy of whatever is happening around me. When you are experiencing the love for yourself, suddenly you will experience that love for the whole. You will see that everybody, everything is worthy of what they are. You feel like blessing everybody and everything.
Who am I? Starts and ends inside your body. By whom am I? Starts and ends in cosmos. By whom? By whose will everything came to existence. Seeking the source, you can capture it by developing the subtle grooves in your brain, by evolving complete completion.
Paramashivoham. Experience the ultimate you. Conducted by Avatar for Hinduism, His Divine Holiness Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda.
Born more than 1,000 years ago, devastating human societies, the ancient plague known as King's Evil thrives, swallowing millions of lives every year, one every 22 seconds, a pandemic which seems unstoppable. The clock is ticking, the world and its leaders are running out of time.
I tell you, each Baba Samadhi darshan is a spiritual treat. Enjoy. Spiritual feast. Enjoy. Don't miss it. Never miss a Baba Samadhi darshan. Enjoy Paramashivoham, which is introducing and making you cognize the cosmic principles and cosmic beings. The state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. 1 or 2 times have Ganapati Darshan, Venkateshwara Baba Samadhi Darshan, Devi Baba Samadhi Darshan. By 3rd time, 4th time, you will see every prayer you are asking those beings, Ganapati or Venkateshwara or Subramanya or Parashakti. Simply those prayers become reality, and the relationship between you and that cosmic beings built. Once, Arunagiri Yogeshwara, my guru, gave me an instruction, and then he asked, "Will you do it?" I was shocked. I immediately folded my hands and said, "You are God. You are Shiva. How can I not do what you say? He laughed and said, no, only if my Guru. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gaganasatrisham Tattvamasyadhilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamajalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavadhitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nityananda, welcome each and every one of you joining with us, sitting with us, watching us on Nithyananda TV, Kailasa's official TV channel. My name is Nithyananda Maharaj, and along with myself, we also have Mani Shuklaji and Srinitya Sarabeshwarananda also joining us for today's segment leading us towards Nithyananda Satsangh. Before we get any further, we go ahead and introduce the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as well as the revival of the Kailasa nation. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, is the reviver of Kailasa, the ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is an avatar as per Hinduism and is the Supreme Pontiff, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam of Hinduism. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived the science of power manifestation, yoga, and created temple-based universities for humanity. The Sovereign Order of Kailasa, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the Nithyananda Order of monks, nuns, and Hindu diaspora, are working for global peace and to give a superconscious breakthrough to humanity. Nithyananda Hindu University, the world's largest Hindu university with extended campuses in 150 different countries, is collecting, organizing, preserving, time capsuling, decoding, spreading, and reviving 20 million source books on Hinduism. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is also the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Shyamlapita Sarvanya Peetham, the ancient apex body of Hinduism, as well as the Emperor of Suryavamsha Surangi Samrajyam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also survived the worst persecution of multiple assassination attempts on his person and on his character by anti-Hindu elements. News and updates from Kailasa. Yesterday, Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University entered into Day 10 of the Paramashivoham Level 2 Season 25 program, crossing over 330 days of unbroken online services to people from over 100 different countries. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, prays to Paramashiva for the Atma Shanti of Radheshyam Khemkaji, the president of Gita Press, who has recently passed away. Further, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism prays for the healing and well-being for the family of Sri Radheshyamji and Gita Press. Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Global Peace and Religious Tolerance, in conjunction of this year being the year of global peace and trust, invites global citizens of all sectors to join us in healing, empowering, and enlightening, especially during these testing times. We also have the glimpses of yesterday's most awaited Venkateshwara Bhava Samaya Darshan. Yesterday, Kailasa Department of Broadcasting facilitated the Venkateshwara Bhava Samaya Darshan, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism graced the whole world in the form of Venkateshwara. Thousands from across the globe tuned in to have the darshan and blessings of Lord Venkateshwara from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Upcoming events. On the 11th of April, day after tomorrow, we are having the auspicious offering of Maheshwara Puja. Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship will be conducting the Maheshwara Puja as prescribed by the Vedas and Agamas revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In the Maheshwara Puja, as the 108th living incarnation of Paramashiva, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism personally will be receiving the Bhiksha, alms, and liberating the departed souls along with the Nithyananda Sannyas order, the monastic order of Kailasa. For more details and offering the Maheshwara Puja, you can visit the link gateway.nithyandauniversity.org/product/Maheshwara-Puja. So, entering into today's topic, along with myself, we also have Manish Ji, who has recently joined us for the pre-Satsangh segment. So Manish Ji, coming from outside, seeing the world and all that, what is it that has struck you? How are things going on outside?
Thank you, Miraj, for calling me in this pre-Satsangh hosting session. So
bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahasadashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Yes, sorry for the technical glitch. Coming back to some of the reports which we have received across the globe on how people are suffering from different and various levels of suffering and depression, suffering not only physically, not only mentally, but even physically as well because of different stages of grief which they're experiencing. 1.8 million Americans are estimated to have already lost a relative due to the COVID-19. More than half the adults in the United States have seen their mental health worsen due to worry or stress during the pandemic. And 75% of employees are reporting burnout at work, with 40% reporting burnout specifically during the pandemic. Currently, COVID-19 has resulted in over 2 million deaths globally. There are an estimated to be over 1 million children and young people experiencing bereavement because of the COVID-19. It is estimated that for every COVID-19 death, 2 children and 4 grandchildren have been bereaved. Deaths by COVID-19 have left behind nearly 12 million recent bereaved individuals worldwide, and researchers have raised concerns that the circumstances of COVID-19 related deaths will lead to a rise prevalence of prolonged grief disorder, in other words PGD cases. So people dying because of COVID-19 is not only causing the death of one person, but it is also causing grief to almost 5 to 6 people in their immediate family and friend circle, like minimum 5 to 6 people. And knowing people, especially nowadays with so many social media platforms and so much of communication possible from all across the globe, these are just the minimum numbers which could be represented by our statistics. By January 8, 2021, there have been over 86 million confirmed cases of COVID-19, including more than 1.8 million deaths. As shown in a recent study, for each COVID-19 death, about 9 family members would be affected and grieved. It is estimated that the mass bereavement due to COVID-19 will leave behind nearly 16 million newly people bereaved globally. Not only that, research has shown that COVID is especially hard on youth. Victims of the virus will likely leave behind a large number of grieving children and grandchildren, with rates of 2.2 children and 4.1 grandchildren bereaved for each person who dies. There is evidence on the failure of addressing the needs of bereaved children proactively and on an ongoing basis, which may result in poor mental and physical health. Also, it is estimated that 5 to 10% of children and adolescents who suffer the loss of a loved one develop clinically significant to psychiatric difficulties. The general estimates that suggest that 11 to 18% of the world population, or approximately 1 in 7 individuals, meet the criteria for a diagnosable psychiatric disorder at any given time. Yet, the global shortage of trained mental health professionals prohibit an adequate response to existing needs. So by this statistics, what pretty much they're saying is, even though there's a rise in people suffering from various levels of griefs and so on, we do not have the capacity or even the infrastructure to help coach and bring these people out of the suffering. Even as per society standards, they do not have enough facilitated members to help people come out of their mental health and mental disorders.
Yes, Maharaj, even the social media is full of people asking for different, different people are committing suicides because they are not able to come out of their grief. And people are also suffering from so many mental diseases, as you told. So, what is the solution? Don't we have a solution like Kailasa? It must have a solution because we are going to support the humanity with spirituality and all the things given by Hinduism. So, do we have any solution for that?
Actually, SG, for the past couple of years, actually, Swamiji has spoken elaborately on the science of completion and how completion can help you come out of your incompletions, how you are pretty much all the source of all the problems you are facing in your life, be it in your personal life or your professional life, in any field you take it. The source of all those problems are our incompletions and root patterns which come to us, which happen to us when we are very young, usually before the age of 7. Sarveshwar Maharaj, would you like to go ahead and share a few words about the science of completion?
Thank you, Mangala Maharaj. So, Swamiji has been sharing the science of completion since many years, and especially has spoken elaborately on the subject around 2011-12. He had introduced the topic of what is completion. So, it might be difficult for us to explain what is completion, but it is very easy for us to understand what is incompletion. When we feel that there is something in us which is missing, when we are not feeling the state of fulfillment, the state of being in oneness with the whole universe, where we are feeling that we are Paramashiva, we are absolutely complete, there is nothing missing in us, and we experience the peak of our possibility. So it might be easy for us to understand what is incompletion, but Swamiji has also described that when he really describes the state of completion, it cannot be expressed in words, but we can experience it. So there are many processes which Swamiji has shared for experiencing completion. It starts with completion with the self. We have incompletions related to us, and this starts with the process of analyzing our inner image, how we look at ourselves internally, what we feel about ourselves, which is called the mamakara. Then what others feel about us and what others have an expectation of us, that is the others image, that is the ahamkara. And then the next thing is the image we have about the people around us, the others image which we carry about other people. And finally, the world image, what we feel about the world in general, what is our cognitions about the world, that world is a stubborn place, world is a difficult place to live in, and life is not kind to me, life is cruel to me. So with this, reducing the gaps between these four images, there will be three gaps. The gap between your inner image and your the image which others have about you is the self-doubt. The gap between the image which others have about you and you have about others, that is the self-hatred. And finally, the gap between the image which others have about you and you have about life, that is the self-denial. So first we complete with these three patterns. HDHD is what Swamiji calls it in short. We experience completion with the self. So that is where the journey starts. First we complete with ourselves, we complete with others. We go through a very powerful process of experiencing completion with fear. That is a very powerful process where Swamiji has shown us experientially that the root of all fears is the fear of death. So we go through a very powerful process of death meditation. Going further, many times in our life, the people who are actually living and part of our life, they do not have impact on us. But the people who have left their bodies, they seem to have a lot of impact on us, and we are not able to complete. For sure, we can take many techniques like mirror completion technique and recollect the painful memories we had with those people, invoke them in the mirror, and it may be apologizing, it may be saying I miss you, and complete. That takes us to a certain level. But this is like the place where I feel, very sincerely, where I feel that the world is facing a challenge, where they need help, our help in completing, because to a certain extent we can do completion with the people who are around us. But what do we do about the people who have left the body? So that is a thing which we wanted to share actually today. One, I will just explain the process. It's a very basic process for completion with others. The first technique is the mirror completion technique, where we sit and recollect all the memories about the person whom we are grieving for and write it down elaborately, without editing, without missing any words, without trying to be polite, without trying to make it, as we are thinking, not having double thoughts. As it is coming out, we write it down in a notebook, and then we look in the mirror. And as we are looking in the mirror, we relive those incidences. It is not just a recollection of the incidences, we relive it. So, when I say reliving, it means experiencing exactly the situation. If I was feeling like crying, I should actually feel like that same emotion, like crying. If I am feeling confused, I should feel like that. If there was a certain fragrance in the air, I should relive that also. If it was raining outside, I should relive that also. And completely go through that experience and get relieved. So it is reliving for getting relieved. Then next process, we can share it with 5 people with the same intensity, and we have to relive it in the mirror also 5 times with the same intensity, each and every incident. And we have to relive it and share it with 5 deities, our favorite deities. And so this is a process, an elaborate process for completion.
Maharaj, I want to know again. So
Yes.
what is the first step?
So first step is when we sit and recollect all the painful memories we had with that person. If we take an example, it can be our teacher or our guide who left the body, and when we were kids, we would be finding it very difficult to understand what they are saying, and we would be like, oh no, this is not good, this is not right. But when they leave, we realize how much they have contributed to our lives. That is especially with our elders and with our teachers. So that is one of the examples we can take. So after they have left the body, we really miss them, and we feel bad that we didn't acknowledge the importance of their presence.
Contribution.
Yes, exactly. Their contributions to our life. So we can write those things down and relive it.
So what is reliving? Like what is reliving?
So I just wanted to add a couple of points here. So the science of completion, basically, as Swamiji used to speak in past recent satsangs. In Hinduism, we believe in a multi-dimensional logic, not in the binary logic, right? So 1 plus 1 does not equal to 2 alone. 1 plus 1 is equal to 11. So by this statement, exactly what is Swamiji trying to convey to all of us? So certain things, they do not just necessarily need to, for example, if you have a stomach ache. So having a stomach ache may not necessarily need to be that you have some food poisoning or some, how to say, or you got some indigestion, or you are unable to release your bowel movement, and so on. Even just having too much of worry or having a problem in your professional life, you're scared of your having job insecurity. So these kind of things will affect the Mooladhara chakra, which is rooted in the Swadhisthana chakra, which is rooted in our stomach area. So because we have so much of worries and so many incompletions, that just generates all the stomach problems and stomach pains which we have. So for a normal person who is living in the binary logic, they would try different cleansing of the stomach and so many things and all that. But when we live in this multi-dimensional logic, when we understand that everything is connected to everything in the basic fundamental principle of Advaita, then we'll realize that even problems and things which are happening in our professional life, in our personal life, worries which happen there, they have a physical impact on our body. Because everything is interconnected, everything is basically in that multi-dimensional logic. As Swamiji always says, we are not islands, even if we look like islands from above, from the top, from a bird's eye view, even if we look like different islands, underneath, under the ocean, under the surface, we're all very deeply interconnected. And so, even in if you take it in the science of completion, some problems which you may be having in your professional life, some relationship problems which you may be having, some problems which you may be having with your children or with other relatives in your family, it may not directly be that you have a direct problem with them, but because of an incompletion which generated and which you are carrying with your father or your mother or your grandparents or so on, because of incompletion you have generated and you have carried with them. Usually incompletions, the root patterns are the source of all incompletions basically, and they are formed in the age up to the age of 7 is where pretty much most people's root patterns are formed. And so it is a root pattern at which you form at that age. And those root patterns affect us even now. Those incompletions come back to us in various different forms. As Swamiji says, when you have a root pattern, for example, at the age of 3 or at the age of 4, when you develop a certain idea, a certain cognition about your mother or father, then you stop growing from that age. You are stuck. You will continue to be a 3-year-old boy. Even if you have physically grown into 30, 40, even 50, you are mentally still stuck as a 3-year-old boy. Because the same cognition which you have about your mother, or have about your father, any father figure in your life, be it your boss or a person or your grandfather, any other father figure you have in your life, you will project and have the same incompletions on them as well. So not only is it something which we may later on realize, or just because they're our parents, out of respect we should be in completion with them and be on good terms with them. But completion is much more than that. Having completion with your relatives, having completion with people who are part of your team meeting. So team meeting, as Swamiji describes, is the immediate family or friends, whoever it is, the immediate 21 people who live in your atmosphere, who you think about at least 3 times a day. So that is pretty much your team lead. So having the completion with your team lead, that is very important, and it is very crucial for you to experience happiness and abundance in your life. So as Swamiji beautifully says, completion is not just something where you come to terms with another person in your life, but having the space of completion, it reflects and it changes so many other different dimensions of your life. So when we are doing the completion process, when we are reliving and relieving our emotions and our incompletions, like Swamiji says, it is not just where you sit and you relive the experience. As Sarveshwar Maharaj said, you sit and you relive each and every moment. Exactly, if you were taken out from this moment and put back in the time of that incident, you relive that moment completely. But not just reliving the moment as it happened, but even in your inner space. What was the inner space you were carrying at that time? How were you feeling? What were your cognitions? What were the cognitions of you as a 3-year-old boy and not as a 30-year-old man at this moment? So that is a very important part. The process of completion is not coming to terms to the reality, but it is just reliving the moment as it happened, not just physically, but how you experienced it also mentally. What were the cognitions you had as a 3-year-old boy? You are literally becoming that 3-year-old boy and reliving the whole experience. So this is pretty much the fundamental process of completion.
And one very important thing, when we relive, we identify some powerless cognitions. It is at this point that we need the support of the Guru and the support of the enlightenment ecosystem to replace these powerless cognitions with powerful cognitions. For example, one of the teachings from Bhagavad Gita which really helped me is the understanding that we are consciousness, we are divine souls, and we cannot be destroyed. Fire cannot burn us, water cannot wet us. That understanding really helped me at something like 10 years ago. So one verse, each and every powerful cognition which Swamiji has been sharing with us, which our Shastras have been carrying on since so many generations, that changes everything for us. Our life from that point really changes. Our powerless cognitions are replaced with the thought current of Paramashiva. So that is one of the very important steps.
So this is how I understood what you people were telling me. So if I'm a 3-year-old child and I had some bad experience with my father, so you mean to say that it will be repeated in all the relationships where I will see a father figure?
Pretty much, yes. Because basically, you haven't grown from that 3-year-old child. Once you have that cognition stuck that my father doesn't want me to, doesn't appreciate anything I do, no matter how much. Let's take a actually hypothetical example. You drew a very beautiful drawing. You thought this is the best drawing you did. You can't do a better drawing than this, and you wanted to go and show your father, and you want your appreciation of your father. But if your father is in some other mindset, he is worried about something is going to happen in his business, and he's in a very he's in his own world at the moment. And then when you come and show him the painting and you're waiting for his appreciation, because he's thinking about something else and he doesn't register you and he doesn't give you the importance which you need, and it is not directly something which he did wantedly. Some other crisis is going on and he's attending to that, so he didn't have the time for you and he brushes you off. For you do not have the understanding of the cognition, or you don't understand what is going on in his mindset, what is happening with him. But for you, what you understood is he doesn't like you, and he doesn't love you. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't want to give you the time for your to appreciate you. So that is the one cognition, that one thought current which will get stuck in you. And every time when you grow up and go to school, the parent figures in your life, you'll project the same thought current on them, where you feel that no matter how hard you work, how much high grades you get, they will not appreciate you. And then later when it comes to your career life, your boss or your employer, you'll project the same thought current on them as well, where no matter how hard you work, how much ever effort you put, they will not appreciate you, they will not love you, they will not give you the affection which you desire from them.
So it is not them, it's me who is projecting this. It's exactly. My reputation, it's exactly. My experience. Wow. So, and science of completion is the way to come out.
Exactly. So actually Swamiji even says, this is actually a very beautiful point which you brought up here. It is always a problem with us, and so many times people, when they try to feel that everything in life is gone for them and they try to run away, go to a different place and start trying different things, completely changing your whole identity basically, dropping this identity, going to a different place and taking up a new identity, new profession, pretty much trying to change the whole life. They again, after a couple of months, a couple of years, they again find themselves back in the same rut, in the same place where they are suffering from the same things they were before they changed their lifestyle. And so this is how Swami says, no matter how much ever you run, how much ever you try to run away from your past, it will come, because you're not running away from something, it's inside of you. And until you discard that, wherever you go, you're going to be suffering from these same problems. So actually a very beautiful way to learn and understand and imbibe the science of completion is through the Paramashivoham program. The Paramashivoham program is an ongoing program and has been happening continuously since 2019. Since 2020, and we have a beautiful promo video about the Paramashivoham program. And coming to the Paramashivoham program actually is pretty much the orientation into Hinduism. All the ABCDs of Hinduism you learn in that one program, and it is a beautiful way to start the science of the learning and practicing the science of completion as well. Please stay tuned, we'll have a beautiful video about the Paramashivoham program being played now.
Right. The world is ready. You are going to experience literally Paramashiva. Most powerful, intangible but definitive, intense processes. This is the most powerful spiritual nuclear explosion, the strong force of Kailasa landing on planet Earth directly. One thing I can be sure, you will not exist end of the program. I can guarantee that. only Paramashiva will be there. The time is right. The world is ready. You are going to experience literally Paramashiva. Most powerful, intangible but definitive, intense processes. This is the most powerful spiritual nuclear explosion, the strong force of Kailasa landing on planet Earth directly. One thing I can be sure, you will not exist end of the program. I can guarantee that. Only Paramashiva will be there. The time is right. The world is ready. You are going to experience.
Yes, we're back. So, along with ourselves, we also have Sri Nithyananda joining us from Canada. Nithyanam Sri Nithyananda, thank you so much for coming today and being a part of today's discussion. So, could you go ahead and briefly introduce yourself for all our viewers, and then we can enter into today's discussion. Please go ahead.
Sure, thank you, Nithyanandam. I was initiated by Swamiji in 2015 into the Brahmacharya lifestyle and blessed with the spiritual name of Sri Nithyananda. I grew up in Canada. I became an elementary school teacher and spent some time working as a computer engineering technologist. And I have been living the spiritual lifestyle since 2011, and yeah, it's the best. We did a lot of work with different educational groups in different countries, and especially boys and men and families. And so it's been really special to see how the importance, the impact of Gurukul on kids and families, and the need for Kailasa in various countries.
Yes, thank you so much, Sri Nithyananda, for coming and joining us here today. So actually, that is the one thing I wanted to actually discuss with you about. So we've spoken about the science of completion here, and how people can use the science of completion to come out of the grieving and coming over the loss of losing a near and dear one. Especially in today's times with all COVID-19 and everything going around right now. So how is the completion science beneficial for children, beneficial for people who are still have not fully formed all the incompletions, all the root patterns? How we can help them with the science of completion? And from your own personal experience, you've seen the Nithyananda Gurukul and you've taught the science of completion as well to other kids outside. So how does this science of completion work with kids in general? Please go
ahead. Yeah, one of the things I've seen mostly with kids is, they sort of have this natural resiliency. Basically, in a sense, the problem that humanity faces is when we're born, we're this bubbling, overflowing love energy. And that's what an enlightened master is. And that's what Swamiji is. And so the problem is, we're born like that, we just need to maintain it. The issue is, after about 5 or 7 years old, from that time, people develop incompletions that they're not able to get out of. It's kind of like the solidification, formation of the personality, where you'll meet someone who's 85 years old and you say, you know, they act like a 5-year-old or something. You can say that about anyone. It's because literally they get stuck and their entire personality gets solidified and built upon those incompletions. So what you really just need to do is you need someone or something somehow to maintain that childlike space of playfulness and completion, so that their incompletions and sort of cognitive dissonance about their experiences in the world doesn't overshadow that and doesn't solidify and prevent their free expression. So generally, you know, kids will have a natural space of completion and resiliency. They don't judge themselves and prevent themselves from taking action based on social norms. They'll express themselves based on their experience. Like they want to love other people, they want to interact with other people. They don't have those blockages. So when you can teach, and that's actually the issue with adults, is we have limitations. We say, I can't do this, or that's not possible, or that's not, but the child, when they're born, they don't have that. So what you need is someone who can recognize that and give that space of completion to people throughout their lives, so they don't have these limiting experiences time after time after time after time, that after 60 years they can never get past. So that's what you need an incarnation for. You need someone who's there, who can recognize it, who can make it happen for everyone. It's literally what is needed in life. Like, in that sense, the souls, the consciousness of the child, they're already enlightened, but they just need maturity. They're still kids, they need maturity. And so you need an enlightened avatar. You need an incarnation. It's a big thing to say, but that's what you need. You need an enlightened incarnation avatar who can recognize what's needed in life of the child and make sure that doesn't get violated, but can also recognize when they need certain directions, but not limited. And so a regular teacher can't do that because we're not in the enlightened space of knowing what every child needs. We're not able to give them the freedom of expression they need with also still maintaining some regulation without knowing if it's impinging on their space of completion and their free expression. So it's kind of an obvious thing. Everyone knows that's what everyone needs, but no one's able to institute it. No one's able to give kids the freedom to express themselves, but also know what direction they need to go without limiting. So it's really special. It's rare to the point of essentially non-existent on planet Earth. Even a spiritual teacher cannot recognize and give that freedom of expression to kids. It's something, it's probably the rarest and most precious thing on earth, is to be able to build enlightened leaders. I mean, that's what's needed. And that is what completion is. It's being complete, full expression. It's not about perfection. It's about being full. And that's what the guru is, right? They have the childlike energy and freedom of expression, but with the maturity. So that's been my experience of what has happened with the incredible students of Gurukul in Adi Kailash.
Yes, thank you so much, Snehati Nithyananda.
Ganabhananda Maharaj, you have told about the beautiful experience of the kids, of the completion. And I have also heard from you guys that completion can bring us peace and it can relieve us and take us out from the rut. Like all the things that I project in my life is because of some incompletion which I created in my childhood. So this, what I am understanding is, if I do the process of completion, I will get out of it. That is the greatest thing. But now I'm also wondering, so many people are dying, and with some people I have connection. So I can connect with them and I can be complete about them. But I also wonder, is there any way to support them? Like, is there any way I can make them complete? They are not in the body. So is there any way for that?
So yes, sir, yeah. So actually, before we go into that, why don't we, Sarveshwar Maharaj, why don't you explain the process? How do we, get into competition with someone who is not in the body right now? We've explained the process of doing completion with a person who is in the body and who is living. But how do we do the same completion process to a person who has passed away? With a person who has passed away.
Thank you, Mangala Maharaj. So when we are completing with others, the people who are still around us, but might not be near us, in that sense, we are often faced with a situation where we are not able to contact those people. So one of the powerful things which Swamiji said is that we invoke them in the mirror and do completion. That is, if possible, we call them and connect with them, and once we are in the state of completion, we talk to them and share the powerful cognition which we got from the process, and explain to them that this is our understanding of how we went into a state of powerlessness. So we are not blaming the others for that incompletion, neither we are blaming ourselves. We are taking the responsibility of it, and we are sharing the powerful cognition we got from the completion process. But now here's the thing, now how do I do the same when the person is not in the body? Exactly the same way. We invoke them in the mirror and relive that moment with them and complete with them, talk to them by invoking them in the mirror, and let the hangover get completed. Now here is the thing, there is a certain level to which we ourselves take this process and do completion for ourselves. For sure we make a substantial progress in that. But what about the people? Truly there's a limit to how much we can do, but there is a part of it where we can take the help of our Guru, Swamiji, the enlightened incarnation, and take it to the next level. That is where we take the help of Maheshwar Puja. So Maheshwar Puja is a ritualistic process where Swamiji, the incarnation, he does the completion for us. So because Swamiji is doing the completion for us, for sure it will be much better than anything which we can do ourselves. And see, I just wanted to explain some of the benefits of the process. First of all, the completion which we do with the others, it helps us move on in life. But the person who has left the body, he might have assumed another body, we don't know. So how much impact it is going to have on him, we can't say. For sure, there might be some effect in terms of the karma baggage which he is carrying, it will be reduced, but we don't know. So more of it, more than anything, we are doing the completion process for ourselves. But how do we actually help the person who has already left the body, maybe even taken another birth? How do we help that person? That is where Maheshwar Puja comes in. That is where Swamiji's role as an incarnation comes in. So
let's actually go ahead and go through some facts about Maheshwara Puja. So Maheshwara Puja is performed for the departed souls, performed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam.
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahasudashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om
So we were speaking about Maheshwar Puja. So Maheshwar Puja is a ritual which we do for the departed souls, and it's performed, and Swamiji does it for us. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, Swamiji, he receives the prasadam, he receives the offering, the naivedyam on behalf of the departed souls, and the fire of the Jataragani, the fire of the stomach, that is considered the most auspicious fire. Anything offered into that fire is said to reach and heal the departed souls. And the fire of the stomach of the sannyasis, it is described as equivalent to offering in the fire of 10,000 homakundas. And especially when it comes to offering to the master, to the enlightened master, it has profound effect which we cannot even understand and we cannot even visualize. So in Maheshwar Puja, we offer our prayers, we offer the naivedyam to Swamiji, and he consumes it, and with that offering, the completion reaches to the departed souls, and they get liberated from the bondage of this janma, of this birth, and it helps them to continue the journey towards enlightenment and get liberated. For us, as far as we are concerned, our baggage, our bondage, the feeling of stuck, where we are stuck with those departed souls, it helps us to move on. There are many people who had tremendous and extraordinary experiences while doing Maheshwar Puja. For example, a devotee was sharing a couple of years ago that one of his near and dear ones had passed away, and he had gone to a fortune teller, and he shared with them, the fortune teller actually, that how it was bothering him. And after doing Maheshwar Puja, when he went back to the same fortune teller, he didn't actually tell that person anything, but that person was able to tell him that this person, this soul, departed soul, has moved on and has got liberated. So he didn't know about the fact that he had done Maheshwar Puja. So it has an impact in ways which we cannot
even fathom.
Yes, we cannot even fathom. So
let me understand it again. So if I have any completion with someone, I do completion for myself. And if someone has left the body, I can do completion for that person also. That will help me more and may even help the departed soul.
yes.
But if I want that person to get liberated or get free from all the bondages, karma bondages and baggages that the person may be carrying,